Zimbabweans in South Africa are hopeful that they will continue to live in the country after December 31. This comes as Home Affairs Minister Aaron Motswaledi responded to a court challenge by the Helen Suzman Foundation, an organization promoting the rule of law in South Africa, challenging the decision of the South African government to terminate special permits given to close to 200,000 Zimbabweans by the end of 2022. Bongani Siziba reports from Johannesburg.
South African Minister of Home Affairs Aaron Motswaledi continued to insist that Zimbabweans in South Africa who are ZEP permit holders must apply for other permits as there won't be any renewal after December 2022. This follows after Helen Suzman Foundation took the minister to court saying it believes that the decision to terminate the Zimbabwean permits was procedurally unfair. It urges that announcement of the decision came at no notice and was done without consultation with the permit holders. This move has been welcomed by permit holders as most of them do not qualify for other mainstream permits. Considering that these Zimbabweans have had permits for a decade, of which some of them had already established families and careers. Many of them here say there is nothing to go back home to.
They won't renew our permits and then we go back to Zimbabwe. How are we going to survive in Zimbabwe? There are so many people in Zimbabwe who are struggling to put bread on the table. We go back to Zimbabwe. What are we going to do in Zimbabwe? How are we going to survive?
We are no longer wanted here in South Africa. Where are we going to go? Just because in Zimbabwe nothing is going well. There's no jobs, there's no food, the currency is always undulating here and there.
But other Zimbabweans are adamant that it is time to go home.
We believe South Africa has played its part. It is up to us now to go and make sure we correct the situation back home.
So I think I must go back home and play my role and contribute my vote in the next election.
The South African government is not willing to move an inch from this decision. But the Helen Suzman Foundation is also adamant that if the decision doesn't go ahead, thousands of Zimbabweans will have no choice but to return to a country that is economically worse than it was when they left. Meanwhile, the Zimbabwean government says it has no power to reverse South Africa's decision.
Any country and every country throughout the world sets laws and regulations as to who can stay in their country and for how long and under what conditions. So it is also with the Zimbabwean exemption permit holders. They are now required, in the light of the decision that has been taken by the government of South Africa, to not renew these permits beyond 31 December 2022, that they should now apply for other visas that they may qualify for. So we encourage all permit holders of the ZEP to apply for other permits that they may qualify for.
However, economic experts also note that while many Zimbabweans are willing to go back home, high unemployment, economic challenges are what they will face when they go back.
Zimbabwe needs a combination of institutional and political reforms that bring back confidence into the economy, investor confidence, because currently the political risk factor or the country risk premium that is associated with Zimbabwe as an economy, with Zimbabwe as an investment or doing business environment is very, very high.
For News Central, Bongani Siziba in Johannesburg.
Bongani Siziba, a journalist in South Africa, joins me now on the news to take this conversation further. Good to see you, Bongani. Very quickly, tell us more about the permits that were given to Zimbabweans by South African government.
Good evening, Suleiman, and good evening to your viewers. Thank you for joining you. Yes, Zimbabweans were given permits. That was in 2010, just a big background to your viewers, in 2010 by the then Minister of Home Affairs, Ms. Nkosazana Zuma. This is because many Zimbabweans were flocking to South Africa, running away from political and economic crisis in Zimbabwe. We know that in 2008, where there were elections that were held in Zimbabwe, and many Zimbabweans had to run away because of the crisis that was there. So there were many Zimbabweans in South Africa, and the then Minister of Home Affairs decided that the Zimbabweans that were here should stay illegally. So now, fast forward, in 2018, these permits were renewed. But then the Minister of Home Affairs, the now Minister of Home Affairs, Mr. Motswaledi, decided that in 2021, these permits were no longer to be renewed, citing reasons that citizens, which are local South Africans, were saying that foreigners are taking their jobs, especially Zimbabweans, because Zimbabweans here are willing to work for little money. That's what South Africans were saying here. So as we call them, the ZEP, which are the Zimbabwean Exemption permits, are now not going to be renewed. That is what the cabinet decided, that Zimbabweans should apply for other permits. And those permits, Zimbabweans here in South Africa, some of the Zimbabweans that have spoken to, they say it's very difficult to apply for these permits that the government of South Africa wants them to apply, because many of them are just general workers, and these permits, they require skilled people who have skills. But most Zimbabweans, who have these ZEP permits, they don't have those skills that they can.
Now, let me jump in here, Beta Bongani. Apologies for butting in quickly here. I hear Helen Suzman has taken the minister to court about this issue you're telling us about. Tell us more about this.
Yes, that was a week ago. Helen Suzman Foundation took the minister to court, citing that the government of South Africa is violating the rights of Zimbabweans, because they gave them these permits with the hope that they will keep on renewing these permits. But now, if they are not renewing these permits, which means most Zimbabweans' lives will be disturbed, and most of them, they are already established here in South Africa. So the Helen Suzman are saying that this is a violation of Zimbabweans' rights. That's why they are taking the minister to the court.
And the Zimbabwean government, is there any reaction or comment from the government at the moment?
Yes, definitely. Last week, I spoke to the ambassador, the Zimbabwean ambassador, David Hamadziripi, who said that them as the government, they have no say in South African laws, but they are urging their citizens that they should move from these permits and apply for these permits that the South African government rather wants them to do. So that's only that they can do, but they cannot tell South Africa to reverse their decision.
And Bongani, you also spoke, to some Zimbabweans. Are they willing to go back home December?
Definitely no, citing that there is still political crisis. The economy, we also know in Zimbabwe, like the economists that I spoke to, that economy in Zimbabwe is not yet back to what they all think that it must be, where it must be. So many Zimbabweans here in South Africa are saying they'll rather stay here illegally than going back to a country where they don't know what they will do when they get there. So many Zimbabweans here are.
Well, I'm afraid that's all we can take now.